Let's turn now to the 2020 race. We're taking a closer look at Senator Elizabeth Warren. The Massachusetts Democrat has been putting race and class disparity at the front of her campaign, and that message appears to be resonating with some voters. The Associated Press looked into this story and detailed Warren's unlikely connection with black female voters. Errin Haines Whack penned that article. She's a national writer on race and ethnicity for the Associated Press, and she joins us now. You know, Errin, in your article, I know you cover Warren's appearance at the She the People Forum, which took place in April and down in Texas. There were thousands of black women in the audience. I'm curious how she was received there.
Well, you know, it was a really electric audience of black and brown women who basically wanted to know where all of the 8 candidates in attendance were standing on an agenda that spoke directly to them. And of those 8 candidates, Warren was the one who seemed to resonate the most with them. I mean, she got a standing ovation when she hit the stage, and they were roaring by the time she exited the stage. One of the first questions that she got was on the issue of maternal mortality in black women. That's an issue that disproportionately affects black women. And, you know, she, in her signature style on the campaign trail, began her answer with, you know, I've got a plan for that, which they just ate up. And so when I talked to voters after the forum ended, the unanimous consent was that she was really just a rock star at that and really stole the show.
So interesting to hear you say how much she resonated with the black female voters. I mean, you talk about infant mortality rates among black women. It's just incredible. But what are the other issues that they feel a connection to with Warren?
Well, you know, Senator Warren is somebody who's long been a champion of issues around systemic inequality, economic inequality, and really the financially fragile. And so in a lot of cases, that intersects with not just class, but race. And so her ability to kind of have those conversations is something that is resonating with black women. She also has talked a lot about the student loan crisis, but specifically has a plan for funding for historically black colleges, a $50 billion plan that she says would be paid for by, you know, a tax on the wealthiest Americans. And so the issues that she kind of came out of the gate talking about, things like housing, things like student debt, and things like healthcare are things that disproportionately affect black women, and I think that's really what's kind of getting their attention.
When you talk about Warren and you compare her to other black candidates, Kamala Harris and Cory Booker, how does she compare?
Well, you know, it's interesting because when I talk to people about her, it really is, you know, that Warren, interestingly, as a white woman, is able to address some of these issues and have them land in a way that would be seen as identity politics, frankly, coming from a black candidate on things like historically black colleges or you know, voicing her support for something like reparations. And so, you know, it's really seen as novel by a lot of these voters that a white woman is taking an interest in speaking out in these issues in this way, and that's kind of what's getting their attention too.
And it's not just issues that are specific to black female voters, but what else has Warren done to sort of appeal to women of color with her campaign?
Well, you know, she's very much so on the campaign trail. She's got a formula of rolling out a policy and then taking that policy directly to voters. And black voters are certainly no exception to that. On issues like maternal mortality and historically black colleges, for example, she's gone to historically black colleges to discuss a lot of these issues. And she's also appeared done op-eds in publications like Essence, which is the premier black women's magazine with a circulation of over 1 million. She was recently in Blavity, the website that's targeted at black millennials that has a significant readership. And so, you know, appearing in those places really is kind of underscoring the message that she is trying to reach those specific voters in particular.
You write about race and ethnicity. I want to ask you a little bit about where you see the African-American female vote in particular. You know, Warren's been gaining traction, but when you look at who's out of the gate, Joe Biden, Bernie Sanders still have wide leads. So how could building connections with black female voters boost her campaign?
Well, I mean, I think that Senator Warren, like everybody else in this 2020 Democratic field, knows that the Black women's vote is crucial. I mean, Black women, we cannot say enough, are the backbone of the Democratic Party. And we know that Black voters, for example, in the early primary state of South Carolina, make up 2/3 of that Democratic primary electorate. And so you see multiple candidates making many trips to South Carolina, even, a year plus out. But you've also got Super Tuesday states that are going to have a significant Black Democratic electorate. I'm thinking about Georgia that has a Black Democratic primary electorate of about 30%, 26% Black vote in Alabama, around 19% Black vote in Virginia. And so, so go Black voters, so goes this Democratic primary. And I think that she's as aware of that as anybody and is actively contesting getting that vote in the most diverse field that we've ever seen on the Democratic Party and the most diverse electorate that we're seeing headed into 2020.
Errin Haines Whack, I want to thank you very much for joining us, Errin.
Thank you.